Recently, I purchased a new mouse, as my old one was having this strange problem where it would randomly increase the DPI. A nifty feature of this new mouse is that it has 10, yes, 10 whole side buttons. This got me thinking, has anyone tried to beat a Fallout game without a keyboard? Immediately what came to mind is when Paul of Mitten God fame beat Fallout 3 with only his eyes. God, do I miss that crazy bastard. Never got to know him or anything, but I think it goes without saying that he is the primary inspiration for me. Anyway, from like 3 Google searches of research, it seems like nobody has done it with just a mouse in a video. Senza apparently also did it with voice commands, a Wiimote, and a flight stick? What? So that's where I'll step in and ask, can you beat Fallout 4 with only a mouse? Here's a picture of my mouse. As you can see from modeling parables showing it off, it consists of M1, M2, and mouse wheel. Pretty standard for a mouse. Now check this out. 10 mouse buttons, just like I said. 2 up here and 8 down here. Early into testing this, I discovered a problem. The numpad on my mouse is tied to the main number keys, not the keyboard's numpad. This is a problem because Fallout 4 doesn't natively allow you to rebind the number keys, since they're used for hotkeying items. Makes sense, I guess. To solve this stump in the road, I had to turn to this piece of software made for Fallout 4 in 2016 that actually still worked perfectly with no problems. So I've devised a genius strategy of keybinds to make this run possible. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are my movement keys. Obviously I can't play much of the game without being able to walk. It's a pretty important step. 5 and 6 are activate and jump respectively. 7 and 8 are a pause and Pip-Boy. The forward mouse button is sprint, back is crouch. Of course, left click is shoot, right is aim, as usual. The mouse wheel functions for changing the view, whether it be through scrolling or pressing, by default in Fallout 4. Holding it in a workshop area will also open that workshop. I've also changed the workshop controls, but it's not really worth mentioning each one. Something that is worth noting, though, is that I can't reload my guns without fully emptying them or put them away. This will hopefully not be much of a problem. One last thing before we start. In an ideal world, I'd be able to set up a camera so you can watch my hand movements as proof that I'm using the mouse the entire time. Unfortunately, that world is not this one. I lack a tripod or anything to set my phone on for this. I also lack the editing ability to make that happen. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm kind of really not good at editing, and I don't have the money to pay an editor, so, you know. Just trust me that I'll be using my mouse the entire time. I mean, I've been honest every other time I've bent the rules or cheated. Right? Okay, Jesus, let's finally get into this, shall we? I start my life the same way all women do. Unable to customize my appearance to look the way I wish I could. For specials, I do something unusual for me and invest primarily into strength and endurance, also luck for Idiot Savant. My state of thinking is that it's going to be incredibly difficult to maneuver during combat, so I'm hoping that Rooted will assist me in not having to do that. Immediately, I hit a different stump in the road upon choosing a name. God, this is just like 9th grade. This time, the stump is metaphorical, in that I have no way to exit the name menu. Clicking anywhere else on the screen doesn't do anything. I have to click enter, meaning no, I can't beat Fallout 4 without a keyboard. You know, it's going so well. Oh wow, that's so strange, I've skipped the rest of the pre-war segment, oops. Upon exiting my freezer, I immediately try pressing WSAND to move, before remembering that I can't do that. I get used to moving around the best I can, then get used to killing roaches. So far, it's not all that difficult, although I'm sure it's gonna be harder when I'm shooting things that have opposable thumbs, or fingers, or guns. I skip past Codsworth after taking his reading material, and take the fight to the raiders outside the museum. Unlike last time, I can actually fight back this time. For some reason, I feel like only using one hand actually makes it harder for me to aim here. Doesn't really make much sense. Maybe I've just inherited British aim from watching Rat Guy too much. Regardless, I shoot my way past the raiders and talk to Preston, but then it comes to me. I don't want to side with the Minutemen today. So I just leave him and his gang right there in the museum where I found them, and Star Trek toward Diamond City. Huh? That has to be a typo, I would not say that, that doesn't make sense. I've never watched that. Along the way, I had a few run-ins with creatures, by which I mean that anytime Along the way I had a few run-ins with creatures, by which I mean that anytime I saw them I'd run in the other direction. This didn't work so well with a pack of feral ghouls, as by God those things move fast. Thankfully, I played a lot of Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Zombies back when I was a kid and was into that sort of thing. That experience translates over as I backpedal and shoot the ghouls. Sadly, none of them drop max ammo since I am still unable to reload without fully emptying my gun. It all goes well until some raiders show up. I'm not ready to take on things that can fight back, so just like in real life, I once again run away from my problems and pretend they aren't there. When I get to Diamond City, Cricket is outside the door. If I had known this was gonna happen, I'd have stocked up on garbage to trade for spray and pray. Tragically, this isn't how the cards were dealt. I was, however, shocked when I saw my own character and saw the default character rather than the one I usually use. This is exactly like real life. What a nightmare. Anyway, I ignore Piper's problems since they're meaningless to me in this playthrough, and instead buy and sell with the vendors. I don't have much buying or selling power, but I trade for a few stim packs. I talk to Ellie about Nick so I have a waypoint to him, then set off in that direction. Far too many bullets are wasted on this weird-looking cat on my way to Park Street Station. Arriving there, I get my first taste of real combat, and boy is it a doozy. The first few triggermen drop without much issue, but as I start walking around, I get so disoriented by the way that I move that I almost die to this one triggerman that's still standing. Thankfully, I survive through that rooted value and take a nap once he's dead before continuing. In the main tunnel, I take cover behind this sody pop machine. Most of the triggermen here still go down in a headshot or 2 or 3 or so. I'm playing on normal right now. I considered swapping to hard, but then I realized that would be hard. The final triggerman and I had the duel of fools, with both of us seemingly unable to hit a single enemy from a few feet away. I guess he's also not using a keyboard. My foolishness prevails over his, so I'm the one who remains in our mortal coil. Darkly I stride, tall and weak, over— There's no way anyone's gonna get that reference. I walk over to one of the mattresses on the floor and take another quick little nap, just like in real life. I am, after all, reportedly part of one of the sleepiest demographics. When I wake up, I head into the vault to search for the great Clockwork Dick Valentine. The 2 clowns at the door aren't expecting me, so they go down with little issue, just like these 2 in the hallway. Poor guys didn't even see what was coming. Me! Here and now I take a short little break. For one, to research whether or not rooted works while crouching. I know it seems a little strange to think it wouldn't, but let's be honest with ourselves about what game we're playing here, okay? The Vault Dweller's Survival Guide indicates that it does, and I don't trust that thing, but it's good enough for me. Second, I swap around my keybinds. I change move right to 2 and move left to 4. I think right not being directly to the right of forward is really throwing me off. This part of the script is being written and recorded at a very different period of time than the previous one. I think I had a third at some point, but if there was one, it's as gone as my self-esteem. And let me tell ya, I ain't got much of that. What I do have is a 10mm pistol and a lot of triggermen to kill. It isn't too difficult on account of me being expected to do this within, 3 levels of my current one. I do, however, have to use 4 stims, and a rat away accidentally, to live. After looting this corpse, I look up and make eye contact with these 2 triggermen, and they both start blasting me as soon as I see them. That was funny to me. I ambush Dino with one of their submachine guns, then Nikki and I atturt to head out of the vault. On our way out, this poor bastard died in the worst way possible, being asleep when combat started. Never even stood a chance. When it comes to Skinny Malone, I just walk up next to him and his crew to take out 2 of his goons with submachine guns. Next to fall is Darla, who didn't even get to swing her bat once. If I knew about sports, I'd make a joke about her striking out or something, but I don't, so I won't. Skinny is a much bigger threat than everyone else, on account of having more health and not being dead yet. But if there's one thing I've learned in my 19.5 years of life, it's that shooting a guy a lot will kill him. If there's 2 things I've learned, the other is that shooting other people a lot will kill them too. And now there's a number 4! The Fallout 4 Next Gen update dropped partway through me recording this. After not playing for like a week, I downpatched then repatched once the update for script extender dropped. For now, Nikki and I meet up at his office. We talk about Kellogg, then I attempt to acquire his house key. My lack of charisma and lacquer of bottle caps makes me not able to get it from the mayor's fairy. I try to lockpick her desk for it, but then I come to a terrible realization. I can't pick locks. It just isn't possible for me to do with my current configuration. I can't even exit the lockpicking menu since I can't click the exit button. Rather than load a save outside of Nick's door, I failed the challenge again by pressing escape. It doesn't matter anyway. Instead of these options, I save scum it out of the mayor's pockets, then scour for cigars with detective parts. Then I send him on his way while I ignore Kellogg and go to Old North Church. See, last time I was here, I pulled a little bit of trickery. I fooled everyone into thinking that there was even the slimmest chance that I was going to be siding with the railroad. But this time, no tricks up my sleeve. Just a fat man in my hands, 4 people in front of me, and a casual conversation. Okay. There was a trick. See, you thought I was going to kill them this time, since I'm holding a fat man. But I actually don't have any ammo for it. I stole it from Cleo and booked it without the mini-nuke, just for this unfunny joke. Yeah, no, I'm actually siding with them this time. I don't know why, just feel like it, I guess. I agree to meet Deacon up in Lexington, then stop by a few raider encampments to purchase some armor. Up until now, I've just been rocking the vault suit, which ain't too good. Finally, I meet Deacon in Lexington. The two of us break into the switchboard through the tunnels, since the other option they give you is not a real option. For now, my 10mm pistol still easily defeats the synths. However, I soon realize that I should save these bullets for the vastly superior deliverer. I swap to a laser pistol since my ammo for it is essentially refunded upon looting the chrome domes anyway. Deacon and I grab Carrington's prototype. Tragically, Deacon was injured in the fight when I stepped on a mine and died. I had to patch him up, then fight through a full 100 synths, all while carrying him on my back. When we're out of the donut shop, I put Deacon down and he tells me to meet him back at the church. Instead, I sniff out Kellogg at Fort Hagen and go inside to deal with him. Like before, I use my nifty laser pistol in here, since I get more ammo for it by looting synths anyway. As seems to be typical lately, when I get to the stairs, Dogmeat is waiting for me as my companion. So as usual, I just sneak and wait to exit combat, then tell him to get the hell out of my face. Most of the synths going forward go down in only a few shots. I'm once again considering upping the difficulty, but I don't do it, because much like Dogmeat's mother, I'm a bitch. Approaching Kellogg, I stop and loot the armory. Or, well, what I can anyway. All the good stuff is locked behind his door, so I can only stare enviously at it, the same way I stare enviously at pretty women wishing I could look like them. My first attempt at killing Kellogg goes miserably. I take out his synths just fine, but when it comes to him, I get thrown off by his invisibility. There's only one good invisible person in this franchise, and this asshole certainly isn't her. Next attempt goes swimmingly, and that's coming from a person with a debilitating fear of swimming, so you know it's true. I just hard focus on turning Kellogg into dust. Invisibility be damned, my boy can burn. His synths are then no problem at all, and all their loot is mine, even the comic books. Ah ha 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 ha. Oh, that sucked. I can't wait to explode this stupid fucking airship. For now though, I just return to Nick and show him Kellogg's brain goop. So we meet up at the memory den and... uh-oh. I must have lost this footage for this part, cause we're at the glowing sea now. Path to Virgil is, unshockingly, uneventful. Just the usual assortment of bugs and thugs. I run a few more trains of zombies, but aside from how much I love to kill zombies, it's relentlessly boring. Virgil sends me on the usual ring around the green tack for a courser chip, so that's where I head next. The gunners inside are woefully unprepared for my arrival. I know this because if they knew I was on my way, they wouldn't be using laser guns. A mix of headshots, standing still, and 7 stim packs gets me to the top of green tack. That is, of course, after this one with a missile launcher forgoes any safety warnings by firing it indoors and at their feet. Lucky for me, rocket jumping hasn't been invented yet. Unlucky for me, it still fucking hurts. The courser himself sees me coming, but they never expect you to just walk right up to them, chug a sody pop, and start blasting. He's dead before I'm even done sipping. I take the chip from his neck, free the synth from her prison, and relieve the gunners from their duty. Then I talk to Dr. Frankenstein about decoding the chip, and she sends me back to the railroad. Finally, I enter the church again with both the prototype and chip in hand, waiting for them. While Tom decodes the chip, I hand the prototype over to Carrington, who sends me on another job that I'm not going to do for him. Tom hands me the data, and then I return to Virgil, who already has my schematics waiting for me when I get there. They're a little sloppy, but they get the job done. That was my nickname in college. That doesn't even make sense. I hand the schematics over to Tinker Tom, who tells me to build a photonic resonation chamber on one of my workbenches. I head over to Sanctuary and... Yeah, I didn't really plan for this, embarrassingly. I have no way to build the resonation chamber, or anything really, without using my keyboard, nor do I have a way to leave build mode. Tragic, but that's the way it is. In order to build the teleporter itself, I have to kill a few mutants and steal their sensor module. Then we can move forward on business. Once again, I failed the run by using my keyboard to build the teleporter and exit build mode. Tom and Desdemona teleport me in, and then my first order of business is to use this holotape to talk to Patriot, their unknown guy on the inside. Patriot tells me to meet him in a closet. I have to tell him, I'm not straight, bro, I'm not into guys, bro, but I'll meet him there anyway. On my way there, I find my son, but I find out that he's not a human, he's a robot. Then I find out that he's not a robot, he's old. I tell my son, father, that I want to work for the Institute. This is a stone-cold lie. Then I meet Patriot in the closet, and we talk about freeing the synths from the Institute. He asks me to get help from the railroad and getting a password for something. I don't know. I ain't no tech expert. On my way out, Father tasks me with meeting X6 at Libertalia to recover an escaped synth, Gabe. He recounts all the countless experiments he did on Gabe back at the Institute. I lie and say I'll get right on that, when in reality I talk to Pam at Railroad HQ first, who tells me I can find the password for Patriot at Cambridge Polymer Labs. Oh my god, I need to write scripts with breathing in mind. I head to the lab where I'm hired on the spot by the robot at the front desk. If only it were that easy in real life. I murderize the robot into scrap and steal the password on her corpse to unlock the director's room to disable security or something. I skip over the experiment, instead committing crimes to get the code Defender Patriot needs. Before returning to Desdemona with the code, I meet with X6 outside of Libertalia, and we head in to grab Gabe. I discovered in my Pyro video that there's a secret way up the main structure that I somehow didn't know about. Up until recording that video, I've only ever gone up the boat gondola thing, but this time I just take the stairs again. I laser a few of Gabe's crewmen to death, then X6 swims upstairs ahead of me and takes a nuke to the face from the raider with the Fat Man. This allows me to push her while she reloads and kill her before she has a chance to fire at me. Thanks, X6. At the top of the tower, I try my hardest to kill Gabe rather than take him in, but I'm too slow, so X6 gets his recall code out anyway. Oh well, it is of no consequence. Gabe gave himself for science, as we all have. Since X6 didn't take me with him, I have to Parker Shark away to safety in order to fast travel back to Railroad HQ. When I get there, I have to sit through a company meeting. It's just as much of a waste of time as every other company meeting I've ever been to. Well, actually, that's a lie. Last one I went to, I gave a dinosaur rock I painted to a coworker I was into, and it was also into me, since she likes dinosaurs. But it didn't really work out between us. It is what it is. Anyway, I talked to Des about the decoder, and she tells me to keep working to free the synths, but to cut Patriot loose. I return to the Institute, where I talk to Father, who now sends me to Bunker Hill to capture more escaped synths. Instead, I return to Des again and inform her of the attack. So she tells me just to kill the Courser the Institute sends for me. Guess what I do next? After killing the Courser, I meet Father and Son on top of the CIT ruins. I admit that I allowed the synths to escape. He scolds me, saying that this was supposed to cement my future with the Institute, and that this will be more difficult now. He then tells me it's time to cement my future in the Institute. I joined him for my second company meeting today. Stuff like this is the only reason I'm happy to be unemployed right now. At this one, Father and Son reveal they're both dying. Me too, partner. Then he sends me to Mass Fusion to recover a big battery for the Institute's reactor. So Allie, Fillmore, and I teleport there and find that the Brotherhood is already searching the building for it. We murderize the hell out of all of the Brotherhood on top of the tower, then take the elevator down to the basement. The Brotherhood try to ambush us on the way down, but like God intended, nothing goes right for the Brotherhood. In the basement, I don't need no pussyfoot power armor hazmat suit to grab the agitator. All I need is some jet and a few lifetimes worth of radiation. When I take the agitator, security triggers, causing numerous robots to enter the room Ali is in. I'd rather easily take a sentry bot head on. It's not even really that difficult. Granted, I'm still on normal, but this is just pathetic. The real problem comes from the pair of Assaultrons who nearly blast my ass back to 2010, a time when I hadn't learned certain things about myself yet. After I kill them, Ali and I are free to exit. The Brotherhood try to stop us, but I use the age-old method of just walking out to avoid them. Back at the Institute, I talked to Z1 about freeing some synths in the storage room or whatever by killing the guards watching them. I also gave Patriot his code defender, but I forgot to hit record. I mentioned this so editing Parallel doesn't have to do it for me. At first, I agreed to supply weapons for Z1's friends, but then I have no way to actually give them to him, so I moved on. The next sequence is pretty underwhelming. It's almost like it was just an afterthought. All I have to do is kill a few synths, and this part of the quest is over. Thrilling gameplay. Next, I have to kidnap a man from his home. Cool. Father then has me record a speech, and head to Diamond City to hack Travis's radio station. I know what you're wondering. Is this part of the quest any more engaging or interesting than it would be with the ability to use a keyboard? The answer is, shockingly, abso-fucking-lutely not. It's still just as much of a waste of my time. It was Halloween when I got there, though. I quickly return to the Institute and stick my beryllium agitator into their photonic resonance chamber. I know, you're concerned about destabilization, but let me assure you, the only thing that could do that would be, say, a fusion pulse charge, but nobody in the Commonwealth has one of those. I'm forced to attend another company meeting, this time as the CEO, so now I get to do the following things on the itinerary. Call cis a heterophobic slur. Mark pictures of black and trans people as mature. Pretend my daughter hates me because of the woke mind virus. Eat hot food supplement. Lie about my father not having shares in an emerald mine. Oh, and one last thing, getting to choose whether to build more guns or more synths. Obviously I choose the gun. On my way out, I'm given a message from Z1 that the Brotherhood has located the railroad. Oh, this is bad. I quickly warn Dez so that we have time to prepare, but I'm too late. They're already here. Tom tosses me an untested prototype of his gun and I say, yeah, sure, I'll give it a spin. Thinking that I have to exit the area for the Brotherhood to spawn, I enter a workbench to try to modify my new gun. Unfortunately, the Brotherhood enter and shoot at me, which soft locks me into being unable to move or attack. Cool. Second attempt, I use a few shots from Tom's gun to kill all 4 attackers with remarkable efficiency. Choo choo! Upon learning about Glory's death at the hands of the Brotherhood, and certainly not my own for not offering her a stim pack, I use my choo-choo to kill everyone else in the church. Desdemona says that now we absolutely have to take care of the Brotherhood in their airship by sneaking on board in a vertibird. In order to get one of them whirlybirds, Deacon Tom and I head to the Cambridge police station and take it over by force. The Brotherhood seem to strongly dislike this idea, so we have to kill everyone inside, including the only member of this slimy, smelly faction that I actually like. To go get it. I learned that Tom is a more skilled pilot than my sister is while he flies us up to the Pridwin, where I use my sneaky sneaks to plant some C4 in an air duct or something. Wow, it's really that easy. When I return to Desdemona, it's time. The nuclear option. I talk to Z1 in the Institute for one last time. He has me kill a few folk, then teleports my folks in. Oh ho ho boy, it's robot collaborating time now. Desdemona hands me the mythological fusion pulse charge, the only thing that can truly blast this place to kingdom come deliverance. With the elevator disabled, we instead have to head through old robotics, where a bunch of security is waiting for us. But to recite the ancient texts... ain't nobody got time for that. Instead, I skip ahead to the real Institute, where I prevail over my ancestors. To quote them, my crew and I also defeat the invisible courser in the rotunda in record time. Screw you, dude. I friggin' hate you. Boo! Boo! Screw you, invisible courser. Upon clearing the concourse, Tom alerts me that another terminal needs my hacking and marks it on my compass. In the director's quarters, I feed father and son a laser pop and then use his password to disable the lockdown and activate the evacuation sequence. The way back to the reactor room is blocked by turrets and synths, but just like my real-world problems, I ignore them all and charge straight into the reactor. I plant the pulse charge in the resonation chamber, then I'm immediately teleported back to the teleporter. After teleporting me to the teleporter, Tom teleports me to mass fusion using the teleporter. The detonator for the charge was already waiting when we all got there, so I opened it up, hit the big red button, blew up the institute, and did not beat Fallout 4 without a keyboard. Admittedly, I expected this to be a lot more difficult going into it, but after the initial learning curve, I got used to playing this way so quickly that it actually made me try playing other games like this accidentally. Once again, the hardest part is knowing what to do with my left hand. I can never figure it out. I also hereby formally declare that my next run will be a baseball launcher only run. If anyone else uploads one between now and then, they stole the idea from me, not the other way around. That's a joke, it's not like any of them are watching this. Let's just hope it doesn't end up like last time. Also, I still forgot to turn off the frame rate counter. Abrupt ending.